Listen carefully and stay with this story until the very end, because the last minutes reveal a truth that changes everything you thought you knew about the quiet girl, the experiment, and me as the narrator. Do not skip, and do not listen alone in the dark if you scare easily. Chapter 1. The Job Offer. My name is Daniel, and I used to film weddings and birthday parties for a living. It was boring work, but it paid the rent. I never believed in ghosts, demons, or any of that. I believed in bad lighting, corrupted SD cards, and drunk uncles ruining first dances. That changed the day I answered a strange email with the subject line: paid filmmaker needed, university research project, discretion required. The email came from Dr. Marcus Hale, a psychology professor at a nearby college. He said he was running a private experiment on trauma and unusual manifestations in a teenage subject. He needed someone to document everything on video. The pay was more than I made in 3 months. We met in his office late one afternoon. The hallway was almost empty. The building itself felt old and tired, with yellow hall lights and doors that didn't quite close right. Dr. Hale was in his 50s, thin, with glasses that always seemed to catch the light in a way that hid his eyes. 2 of his grad students, Jenna and Luis, sat behind him, typing notes. "Daniel," he said, standing to shake my hand. "Thank you for coming on such short notice." He explained the project in a calm, careful voice. "We have a subject," he said, "a 17-year-old girl named Lily. She's been in and out of hospitals for years. Multiple diagnoses, none that fit. She says something is haunting her, but I believe there's a rational explanation." "What kind of haunting?" I asked. Jenna looked up. Voices, objects moving, scratches on her body. Classic possession stuff. Luis snorted softly, but his eyes were nervous. Dr. Hale raised a hand. "We don't use that word here. What Lily experiences, I believe, comes from her own mind. Extremes of stress, trauma, and belief. If we can document it, we can prove that so-called paranormal events are simply human psychology." "And you want me to document everything?" I said. "Every session, every incident," he replied. "No cuts, no tricks. I want this to stand as hard evidence. You'll live on site with us. Room and board included. The experiment will take a few weeks." "What's the catch?" I asked. Jenna and Luis exchanged a glance. Dr. Hale folded his hands. "You must sign a non-disclosure agreement," he said. "No posting the footage. No talking about what you see until the study is complete. Some of Lily's episodes can be disturbing, but you will be safe. We control the environment." Something in the way he said, "we control the environment," made me uneasy. But the money was good, and I told myself it was just another job. I signed the contract. I wish I hadn't. Chapter 2. The Quiet Girl. The research site wasn't on campus. It was an old, rented house at the edge of town, half hidden by trees. The kind of place people drive past without really seeing. We arrived just before sunset. I carried 2 camera bags and a case with tripods and mics. Dr. Hale unlocked the front door and led me inside. The house smelled like dust and old wood. Plastic sheets covered the windows in some rooms. Wires ran along the walls, connecting to small black boxes with blinking red lights. There were cameras already mounted in the corners, watching every angle. "This will be our lab," Dr. Hale said. "Controlled sound, controlled light, controlled variables." "You've done this before?" I asked. "Not like this," he said softly. Jenna showed me my room upstairs, across the hall from Lily's. It was simple: a narrow bed, a small desk, and a lamp. I unpacked quickly, then turned on my camera and started recording as I walked through the house. Front hallway, kitchen, living room, the basement door, locked with a heavy bolt. I was filming a shot of the long upstairs hallway when I heard it. A soft humming. I lowered the camera. The sound was coming from the half-open door across from mine. Lily's room. I stepped closer and knocked lightly. "Lily," I said. "It's Daniel. I'm the one filming." The humming stopped. "Can I come in?" I asked. No answer. I pushed the door open a little more. The room was dim, lit only by a small bedside lamp. The walls were bare except for a few pieces of paper taped up, fragments of drawings, all in dark pencil. Twisted faces. Deep black circles where eyes should be. Lily sat on the bed, knees drawn to her chest. She wore a plain gray shirt and sweatpants. Her long dark hair fell over her face. I started recording again, keeping my voice gentle. "Hey," I said. "I'm Daniel. I'll just be filming the sessions. Nothing to worry about. She didn't look at me. She stared at the wall, at a drawing of a shadowy figure with 2 long arms. Is it okay if I record now? I asked. Her voice was so quiet I almost didn't hear it. He doesn't like cameras, she whispered. A chill went down my spine. Who doesn't like cameras? I asked. Slowly, she turned her head toward me. I saw her eyes for the first time. They looked tired, older than her age. The one who talks, she said. The one behind the walls. I tried to smile, to play it off. You mean Dr. Hale? He seems nice enough. Her face didn't change. Not him, she said, and looked at the ceiling. A light bulb down the hall flickered. Later that night, I lay awake in bed, listening to the old house creak. Somewhere, a door clicked softly. I told myself it was just the heating, the wood settling. But then, through the thin wall, I heard Lily's voice. I told you, she whispered. He doesn't like cameras. A deeper voice whispered back, too low for me to make out the words. I froze. There was no one else in her room. Chapter 3, The Experiment Begins. By the 3rd day, my cameras had captured enough strange moments to make me question everything. Doors I'd seen closed were open in the next shot. Shadows moved in ways that didn't match our bodies or the lights. In one clip, Lily sat motionless on the bed, but her reflection in the window turned its head and looked directly into the lens. I told myself it was angles, tricks of light, my own tired mind. Dr. Hale was more focused than ever. We are close, he said during breakfast, pushing his glasses up his nose. Her episodes are increasing. That means we're getting to the root of the trauma. What exactly is the experiment? I asked carefully. You keep saying this is about proving there are no ghosts, but it feels like you're provoking something. He smiled thinly. We are provoking her mind, he said. We confront her with her own fear until the illusion breaks. When the so-called entity fails to respond, she will have no choice but to accept that it lives only in her head. And if it does respond, Jenna muttered, not looking up from her notes. Dr. Hale ignored her. That afternoon, we gathered in the main room, which they called the observation room. Lily sat in a wooden chair in the center, wires running from her arms and head to a monitor. I had 2 cameras rolling, one on a tripod and one handheld. Dr. Hale stood in front of her with a small tape recorder. Lily, he said, we are going to ask him to come out. She tensed. No, he's already here. Then he won't mind if we talk, Dr. Hale said calmly. Tell him he is invited to speak through you. Her breathing quickened. The monitors beeped faster. I don't want to, she whispered. Jenna shifted in her seat, uneasy. Louise stared at the screen, jaw tight. Dr. Hale leaned in. Lily, we've talked about this. The only way to be free is to face him. He is not real. He is a broken part of you. Call him. Right now. I zoomed in on Lily's face. Her eyes were wide, glistening. If I call him, she said slowly, you have to stop when he comes. You have to let him go back. We will stop when we prove he isn't there, Dr. Hale said. Lily swallowed. The room felt colder. She closed her eyes. I invite you, she said, voice shaking. You can use my mouth. You can use my hands. Just don't hurt them. Who are you talking to? Dr. Hale asked. Her head twitched. The man behind the walls, she breathed. The one in the dark. The one you keep waking up. The lights flickered. On my camera's audio, I heard it clearly later. In the moment, I only felt the shift in the air. A low, distant scraping, like long fingernails sliding across wood. Jenna stood up. Did you hear that? Louise swallowed. It's probably the pipes. We all knew it wasn't the pipes. On the monitor, Lily's heart rate spiked. Her body jerked once, twice. Then she went very still. Her head tilted at an odd angle, like her neck didn't quite work the way it should. When she opened her eyes again, they did not look like the eyes of a scared teenage girl. They were calm, curious, and they were looking straight at me. Daniel, she said, but the voice that came out was deeper, like an echo underwater. My hand tightened on the camera. Keep filming, Dr. Hale snapped quietly. I did. Lily, or whatever was using her mouth, smiled. The boy with the lens, it said. You think the glass keeps you safe. I couldn't speak. Who are you? Dr. Hale said, stepping closer. The smile faded. Lily's lips moved slowly, like someone learning how to use them. You pulled me, it said. You pried open a crack. You called me with her fear, with your questions, with your doubt. Her eyes flicked to him. You begged for an answer. Dr. Hale didn't flinch. You are not real. You are a construct formed by Lily's trauma. The thing tilted her head back and laughed. The sound came out wrong, too loud for her thin body, with a harsh scraping under it. You're the one who doesn't believe in yourself, it said. You hide your fear in her. The monitor alarms went off. Lily's fingers dug into the arms of the chair so hard her nails bled. I wanted to stop filming. I wanted to pull the wires off her and run. But my hands stayed locked around the camera, framing everything. Like some part of me had become just an eye. No body, no will. Dr. Hale stepped even closer, his face inches from Lily's. If you are real, he said, voice shaking for the first time, do something. Prove it. Move something. Show us you exist. Silence. Then every window in the house shook at once, a sudden, sharp rattle like a dozen fists hitting the glass at the same time. The lights went out. In the dark, my camera kept rolling. And something else woke up. Chapter 4, The House Wakes Up. The backup generator kicked in after a few seconds, bringing up a dim red emergency light. Everything looked dipped in blood. Lily slumped forward, gasping. Jenna rushed to her, checking her pulse. She's burning up, Jenna said. We need to stop. Now. Dr. Hale stood very still. He looked pale, but his voice was cold. No, he said. We're making progress. She called it, and her mind responded with a powerful psychosomatic event. This is exactly what we needed to document. Psychosomatic? Louise yelled. The windows almost shattered. Dr. Hale turned to me. Keep filming, Daniel. I realized my arm hurt. I'd been holding the camera in the same position for too long, muscles locked with fear. From upstairs, something crashed. It sounded like a dresser tipping over. We all froze. House settling. Louise tried weakly. Then we heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate footsteps, crossing the upstairs hallway. Too heavy to be Lily's. Too slow to be any of us. Everyone looked at Dr. Hale. His jaw tightened. It's an old house, he said, but his voice was less certain. Another crash. The sound of something heavy being dragged. Stay here, he said. I'll check it out. Like hell, Jenna said, standing up. We're not splitting up. Lily raised her head. Her eyes were unfocused. He's looking for a door, she whispered. He likes higher places. He likes corners. He likes where the walls meet. Dr. Hale paused, hand on the doorknob. What does that mean, he asked. Lily smiled weakly. You brought him up from under, she said. Now he wants out. I should have walked out then. I should have grabbed my gear, left the house, and never looked back. Instead, I followed them up the stairs, the red light from below stretching our shadows up the wall like black hands reaching. The upstairs hallway was colder. Our breath fogged lightly in the air. My camera picked up everything. Framed in the center of the shot, a long line of doors, each one open just a little, like something had passed by and brushed them with invisible fingers. My room door was wide open. Jenna whispered. I closed that. We moved toward it. The floorboards creaked under each step. In my room, the bed was untouched. My bags sat where I'd left them, but all the clothes inside were now hanging from the ceiling light, tied together in a long, twisted rope that almost reached the floor. Very funny, Louise said, but his voice shook. Did you do this, man? I shook my head. I'd been downstairs, filming the whole time. Then we heard it, coming from Lily's room. The humming. That same soft humming I'd heard on the first night. Only this time, it was louder, and it was not Lily's voice. We stepped into her room slowly. Lily was still downstairs. We'd left her in the chair, hooked to the monitors. But here, on her bed, the blankets moved like someone was lying underneath. The humming stopped. For a moment, the room was silent. Then, from under the blanket, something spoke. Found me, it said in a sing-song voice. Eye in the glass found me. My camera shook in my hands. I couldn't breathe. Dr. Hale took a step forward. Lily, he called. This isn't funny. The shape under the blanket shifted. The blanket fell flat, as if whatever was under it had suddenly vanished. We all flinched. Something tapped the camera lens. Just a tiny sound. Tap. But I hadn't moved it. No one was close enough to touch it. I looked at the small screen. For a second, only a frame or two, there was a face reflected in the lens. A pale, stretched face with black, empty holes where the eyes should be. The cheeks torn open into a too-wide smile. Then it was gone. Louise swore and backed into the hallway, knocking a picture off the wall. Dr. Hale's voice broke. It's a projection, he muttered. It's an image imposed by your expectations. You see what you fear. He was talking more to himself than to us. From downstairs, alarms began to scream. We ran. Back in the observation room, Lily was convulsing. The monitors flashed red. Jenna grabbed her shoulders while Louise tried to free the wires. I kept filming. Her mouth was open, but no sound came out. Her eyes rolled back until only the whites showed. Then, all at once, she went limp. Silence. For a long moment, no one spoke. Is she? Louise started. Lily's chest rose. A slow inhale. Her eyes snapped forward, focusing on me again. You brought him with you, she said, voice hoarse. He likes the way you see. I lowered the camera a little. What do you mean? He doesn't need walls anymore, she said. You gave him glass. My camera's battery icon blinked red. Behind Lily, on the blank wall, my viewfinder showed something my eyes didn't. A shadow standing there. Tall. Wrong. Its head bent too far to the side, long fingers reaching out, tapping at the edge of the frame like it was testing a surface. Tap. 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 Chapter 5, Breaking the Frame. After that day, nothing in the house was quiet. Knocks in the walls became scratches. Scratches became pounding. Whispering followed us from room to room. Sometimes it sounded like Lily. Sometimes it sounded like us, repeating things we'd said hours earlier, but twisted, like a bad recording. Dr. Hale still insisted it was all part of the process. We can't stop now, he said. We're too close. Every incident reinforces the pattern. We can map her episodes step by step. What if they're not her episodes anymore? Jenna asked. He didn't answer. That night, I set up a camera in my room, pointed at my bed. I told myself it was for the study, more data. In truth, I wanted proof that I was not losing my mind. I lay there in the dark, the small red light on the camera blinking. Hours passed. I drifted in and out of shallow sleep. At some point, I woke up without knowing why. The room was silent. My eyes went to the camera. The red light was off. In its place, in the dark, I saw two faint, white circles. Eyes. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I stared into the darkness until my vision blurred. Then something spoke, so close to my ear I felt the breath. You don't have to film, it whispered. I can see you anyway. I turned on the lamp with a shaking hand. The camera sat where I'd left it, lens cap on. But when I checked the footage the next morning, the tape was full. On the screen, I saw myself lying in bed, motionless. The timestamp rolled on. Around 2:37 a.m., the edge of the frame darkened, like something stepped in front of the lens. The image bent, warped, as if the camera were made of soft plastic. Then, frame by frame, the lens opened. That's the only way I can describe it. The black glass stretched like an eye dilating, until I saw nothing but darkness. And in that darkness, for a single second, a pale hand reached out toward me in the bed. The footage cut off there. In the observation room, Lily watched the screen with me, her face unreadable. He likes you, she said. You make doors for him. I looked around at the cameras in every corner. What happens if we turn them off? I asked. She shook her head. It's too late, she said. You already showed him where your eyes are. When Dr. Hale saw the tape, his hands shook. He replayed that same second over and over, leaning in so close to the screen his nose almost touched it. This is impossible, he whispered. Jenna folded her arms. Still think it's all in her head? It is, he said quickly, but his voice was thin. It has to be. There is no him. There is only us. Only what we bring to the table. Our minds. Our fears. The screen glitched. For a moment, instead of my bedroom, we saw the observation room, live. Us, standing there, looking at the monitor. Except there was someone else behind us. That same too-tall shape, head bent, hands resting on the back of our shoulders, like it was posing for a family photo. We all turned at the same time. Nothing there. On the screen, the room was empty again. Dr. Hale backed away. We end the experiment, he said abruptly. We shut everything down. We document what we can, and we never speak of this again. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt watched. We started packing that afternoon. Louise took down the cables. Jenna collected her notes. I backed up the footage to an external drive, every incident, every session, every impossible thing. Lily sat on the couch, knees drawn to her chest. Where will you go? I asked her. She shrugged. They'll send me somewhere else. Another place with walls. Another room where he can walk behind them. You don't have to believe in him, I said. She looked at me with tired eyes. It's not about belief, she said. It's about attention. Every time you remember him, every time you watch what he did on your little screen, you open the door a little wider. I looked down at the hard drive in my hand. What if I delete it? I asked. All of it. She smiled sadly. You already saw it, she said. He's in you now. That night was our last in the house. Dr. Hale took sleeping pills. Louise drank half a bottle of whiskey. Jenna sat awake in the kitchen, watching the back door, like she expected someone to knock. I stayed in my room, the hard drive on the desk, my camera in my lap. I told myself I would record one last message, some kind of documentary-style sign-off. A way to close the story. I hit record and looked into the lens. My name is Daniel, I said. I was hired to film a psychology experiment, to help prove that ghosts and demons were just stories we tell ourselves. I'm not sure what I believe now, but if you're seeing this, it means I decided to share it. It means I decided that the truth, whatever it is, matters more than my fear. I swallowed hard. Maybe this will prove it was all in our heads. Maybe you'll see nothing strange at all. Maybe. Behind me, something moved. I saw it first in the small flip-out screen. A tall, dark figure, stepping out of the corner where the walls met. Its body seemed to peel away from the shadow itself. I went cold. Slowly, I turned my head. Nothing there. I looked back at the screen. He was closer, right behind my shoulder now, head bent sideways as if studying my face. The audio picked up a soft, wet sound, like someone smiling with their mouth open too wide. My voice on the recording cracked. If he is only in my head, I said, eyes on the screen, then how is he on yours? The battery died. The camera shut off. In the silence, I felt a breath on my neck that was not mine. And in the black glass of the dead lens, I saw, very faintly, two pale circles looking back. Chapter 6. Why you should stay until the end. I left the house the next morning. No big final scene. No flames, no police. Just quiet, gray daylight and the sound of my own footsteps on the gravel. No one talked during the drive back. Dr. Hale looked 10 years older. Jenna stared out the window, eyes red. Louise kept checking the rearview mirror, like he expected someone to be sitting in the back seat who wasn't there. At the university, they had me sign another set of papers. Confidentiality, legal releases, promises to never show the footage. I lied. I told them I had deleted everything. But that night, in my tiny apartment, I plugged in the hard drive. The folders were all there. Hundreds of gigabytes of fear. I watched for hours. As I watched, I noticed something I hadn't seen before. The more the experiment went on, the more the shape appeared. Not just in Lily's episodes, but in reflections, in glass, in the glossy surface of the TV, in the black window panes at night. Sometimes only a curve of a shoulder, a hint of a hand. Sometimes a full, stretched figure, just outside the edge of the frame. And as I watched, the room around me grew colder. My screen began to flicker, jumping between past and present. For a second, instead of Lily's face, I saw my own, staring blankly into the lens, something tall and dark behind me. I pulled the plug. The screen went black. In that blackness, I saw my reflection. And behind it, for the first time not in glass, not in a screen, but standing in my dark little apartment, was the shape from the house. Head tilted, fingers too long. He stepped closer, but made no sound. His face was wrong, like someone had tried to draw a human from memory and failed. The eyes were just hollow, white circles sunk deep into the skin. The mouth was too wide, a torn line that kept stretching as he smiled. I couldn't move. He leaned down, until where his mouth should be was next to my ear. You told the story, he whispered. Now they will watch it. I realized then why he had left the house. Why the walls no longer mattered. The cameras had been doors. The footage was a map. And my telling of this story, my voice right now, is the invitation. Every time someone watches, every time someone listens, every time someone imagines him standing in the corner of their own room, behind their own screen, he learns the shape of a new place. Your place. So when I told you at the beginning to stay until the end, it wasn't just a hook to keep you here. It was a warning. Because if you heard all of this, if you pictured the quiet house, the girl in the chair, the cameras, and the figure behind the walls, then you have already drawn him a doorway in your mind. And he loves new doors, especially the ones you make yourself. If you made it this far, remember, the more people who hear this story, the weaker its hold is on just one person alone. So subscribe to the channel, Turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next horror story. Leave a like to let me know you're still here. Comment your scariest moment from this tale, and share this video with someone who loves to be scared at night. Just make sure they watch it all the way to the end.